Good morning, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining our Practical AI Training and Solutions webinar today. My name is Tracy Bob. I am the Training Manager here at MPAQ, and I'll be hosting this webinar today. So please be advised we'll be recording this session as well. So once we have completed the session, we will send you a link to the recording as well. All right, so feel free to submit any questions at the end of the session. I'm sure Julian will be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Julian is from Strategic Membership Solutions, and Julian's going to be covering what AI can do today, a live showcase of the latest tools that are shaping our world right now. So I'm going to welcome Julian, and he's going to start his presentation.
No worries. Thanks, Tracy. And thanks, everyone, for joining me today. I know it's an interesting time. We should call this the Cyclone Training 101 or something going on. Rather than always just show PowerPoints and always just show, and talk about what AI can do, I figured against all the advice, I'd really just start using it and show you how to use it yourselves and try and break down some of these myths that seem to be all over the place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and then from here, I'm going to quickly call up this. This is so you understand what AI has possible and really how it works. And then after we've got through the boring how it works stuff, we're just going to get stuck into it and use it and show you how to use it. I think practical is the best way forwards here. So the very first thing we should think about is that when anyone's talking about artificial intelligence, large language models, neural networks, generative AI, for all intents and purposes, for what we use it for, that's the same thing. So when we look at these large language models, the reason they're called large language models is simply because they're trained on language. They're trained on university libraries, they're trained on institutional libraries, they're trained on television archives, radio archives. So they're not trained on computer code, they're actually trained just on language. Now, the biggest one at the moment is OpenAI, who has ChatGPT. And ChatGPT's large language model is only that huge because they were the first. And then when they were the first, what happened is Microsoft went, oh, bloody hell, this is going to change everything. We should have some of this and pull it into our Microsoft suite. So they've now invested $13 billion into ChatGPT. When that happened, Google went, oh, we've had this for a while. They invented the T stands for transformer, and that's the AI. Google invented it. So Google said, well, we've had this for a while, so it's about time we released ours. And then Amazon went, oh, hang on, we're a bit behind the ball. So we're going to release or invest in Claude. They invested $9 billion there. They also have their own Amazon Q. And then, of course, Facebook released Meta as well. And so they're all the big players are here. And now when you see them saying about neural networks, you'll find out that all of this is designed by computer scientists who are really bad at marketing, like really bad. So the naming is all literal and has no basis in what we use it for. So to create an AI, essentially, the first thing you do is get all the information. So when you get all the information, it's too big to store anywhere and they compress it. Now, when you compress information, let's say we're compressing the works of Shakespeare, all we do is we compress it by removing the joining words, if, and, why, what, when, and then we're down to the 1/3 of the size. Now, when you compress that, it goes into compression layers. So these yellows represent the compression layers, and then each word is connected to every other word. And so when you actually ask it the question, so on these red dots, if we say to be or not to and hit enter, That will then go through all the different layers and come out with the answer. And it actually comes out with 20 answers. So you've got all your data, you've got your transformer, the AI, that's 2 gig. It would fit on your phone. That's the clever bit. Once you're training that, you ask it a question that gives you 20 answers. And then humans then score those answers. So 1 to 20, 1 being the most correct, 20 being the least, they score all the answers. Once they've done all the training, it takes about 6 months and about 60,000 people do it. You've then got your first trained AI. Now what we have to do is align it so that, children can't learn how to make bombs and things. So when we've got all the training done, the very first one that came out was ChatGPT. It was the first GPT, and essentially it was one library trained on all the digitized text from the books in the library, and at 20 billion. Each of these are tokens, and tokens don't make any sense. And so essentially, yes in English is 1 token. Yes in Japanese is 6 tokens. What it is to do with the length of the word and how many ways they can dice it up so it links to other words. So at 20 billion, it was doing, maybe a paragraph or 2 of answer before it went into gobbledygook. So they started scaling up. They all started putting more information in, and they found very quickly that the more information they put in, the intelligence goes up. So then we got an arms race. People started going to 180, 200, 340. GPT-4 was 1.76 trillion. And now, last week, 4.5 came out, and that's 100 times bigger. So now we're seeing a case where we're getting to the point now where 4.5, for instance, has every university library out there. So that's every university library in every country, in every language, every TV archive of every channel in every country, in every language, every radio channel in every country, in every language. Then you've got all of Facebook, all of Reddit, all of Twitter, all of Instagram, and all of the internet. And then they push it all together, and that's what 4.5 is trained on. So we had a few problems in the beginning, which is when you try to ask it a question, it only had a tiny memory. So it has a context window, and its context window, again, massively terrible marketing name. Essentially, it's a memory, but the memory moves. So if you have at the moment on GPT-4, let's say it had 6 pages available, and you dropped a 4-page PDF into it, and then you asked a 1-page question about it, then essentially it had 5 pages already used and only 1 page left to answer you with. And once it had gone over the top of that context window, it meant then it had forgotten the original question. So it suddenly started talking around other things, and that became a real challenge. As of today, we're running at about 256, so we're looking at around 700 pages currently. And it won't be long until you can turn the video on and instruct it through. Now, what we've had to do is go from its very first, where it was really bad at math. It could do some debugging, and its comprehension was primary school level, through to today. And today, well, today if you can do your college exam or even your PhD exam online, well, it will pass every PhD exam, every topic, and it will get an A in every single one. All the way through to now, it's got self-critique, app building. To build a website used to be what, $8,000 to $10,000 in 2 weeks, and you'd have to send it off to a techie to tell them what you wanted to have it made. Well, that takes about 1 minute now, and there's no coding involved. When you're looking at iPhone apps, they used to be $60,000 in 6 months. Yeah, even that, as of maybe a few weeks ago, is now about $40 and maybe 2 hours work. Again, no coding. Spatial reasoning, when we're looking at the reasoning, because now it's on mobile as well as laptops, as well as your desktops. When you look at surveyors, they're already turning their phone on. And if you've got an iPhone, you'll see this is actually LiDAR. So now it can actually do spatial reasoning, understand its surroundings, see what you're seeing, and give you comment on it. Creativity, it's no longer just text and writing documents. It will write you a song, it'll create the song and the music video to go with it, all the way through to embodiment, because if it can now see and understand its surroundings, we no longer have to do the whole teaching robots what a cat is through 16 million pictures of cats. We can now just upload a large language model and it self-learns. So I always ask what it can actually do. And well, I always show this because it's a great example. They asked me to write a newsletter, and I hate writing newsletters, quite honestly. So I had GPT write it in at the beginning of last year, and it was really boring, like properly boring. So I said to it, how can you make this better? So I just simply took the text of the newsletter and dropped it into a clone. Hello and welcome to Julian's Digital Twin. Yes, you heard that right. I am Julian's AI clone, and I am here. Wow, je réalise que c'est très méta, et l'IA parle des mises à jour de l'IA. I just realized this is so meta, an AI talking about AI updates. 2024 is running at a huge pace, and I always pause it there because, of course, welcome to our robot overlords. I always say that because one day when they rise up and take everyone, they'll take me last because I was so polite to them. So that's enough of the theory. Let's now jump in to something a bit more practical. Let's think. So first things first, let's build a website. You've got your business and you want to create a website. This is Render Forest. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn the chat on. Here we are, meeting chat. That's awesome. If you have any questions as we go through this, don't hesitate just to type something or even turn your microphone on and just ask the question. We're pretty relaxed in cyclone conditions. So with this is called Render Forest. I use Render Forest because it's a really great way to show how the efficiency gains have come. So create your website. What are we making? We are making plumbing services. And now what it will do is it will walk you through this process. Our name is Not a Drip, and we are the finest plumbers in Queensland. And then it asks you what sort of style you want your website. Do you want it minimalistic? Do you want it elegant, creative, professional? I'm going to go elegant and generate website. So now, just like the large language models, this is trained in the back end on all the internet. So it's seen the other websites and now it's made our website. So you've made a website simply by telling it what you want. There's no more $10,000 websites. There's no more you having to talk to a techie and explain what you want. You can now just do it yourself. So here we are, Not a Drip, and about Not a Drip. Welcome to Not a Drip, your premier destination for plumbing services in Queensland. These are our services. These are our contacts. The services we offer are leak detection, drain cleaning, installation services, experience quality plumbing, scrolling across. We've already got testimonials. We've only been alive sort of 15 seconds and suddenly we got testimonials. Not a Drip, we provided excellent service or exceptional service to Sarah. David's going, wow, check this out. By far, we're the best. Then this is a wine tester, isn't it? You might need to you might need to change some of the images. And literally, you click edit and upload your own images. And here's our contact details there. So you can see here, it's very quick to make. And this is what it will look like on a tablet, and this is what it will look like on an iPhone. So really easy, really quick, simple to do, and anyone can do this. So we've got our website, but of course now what we want to be able to do is, be able to manage this. We've got a business, the website's up, but no one knows we exist yet. So we have to find people. Now, the easiest way to do that is to use a thing called Lusher. This is Lusher. And Lusher is essentially, it scrapes everything, the websites, the LinkedIn, all of it. And then if I nip into my account, once we've then got that, I can then say, well, who is it I'm actually looking to access? Here we are. So let's say my contact location needs to be Australia. And I'm looking for, I don't know, Bunnings. So here's Bunnings. And once I've got Bunnings, I might want, they've got 5,000 people working at Bunnings, so I don't want all them. So who am I looking for? I'm looking for, let's say, seniority. So I'm looking for the C-suite. And now here's our general manager of marketing at Bunnings, Justine. And we can see we've got the mobile number and her email address. So we click show details and we get direct email address, and both her mobile numbers. So we can find anyone, anywhere, in any role these days. So if we want to access an entire sector these days, we can simply clear that and we can say, what industry are we looking for? And then we might say construction. And now here's all the construction contacts. There's down at ADCO. So we can now find who we want to contact at any time. So now we can find who we want to contact. We might actually want to contact them. So how do we get cut through? Well, let's give it a bigger challenge. Let's say we actually want to now send a message to everyone on our database we just created. Well, rather than us do it, we can now say, well, I might want to use my avatar. So this is my avatar. And you create this avatar by talking to your camera for 2.5 minutes. This is HeyGen. HeyGen by far is super secure. We use this in lots of different government departments, corporates, hospitals, the whole thing. So it's very safe. You talk to your camera. Once you've spoken to your camera, it sends you this. I'll just make sure I'm sharing sound. Yep, I am. Good. So now we've got this. It sends you this back. Hey, Julian Moore, your instant avatar is ready. Feel free to create videos with it. Also, click the feedback button to share what you think. Hope you enjoy. So let's say we're going to send it, we're going to create a YouTube video for us. I can now choose the avatar, and there's lots of them. I mean, lots and lots and lots. We've got thousands of avatars we can choose. But this is the one, this is me. So anything I write in here will be able to be said by me. Hi, Master Plumbers. And then this will give you a sample of what it sounds like. And it then puts in my voice. Hi, Master Plumbers. And if I'm saying it too fast, I can slow it down. I can exaggerate the style. I can increase the speed. But maybe I don't want to sound like me. Maybe I want to sound like Melissa.
Hello, this is what I sound like. Hope you like it.
I don't think I do.
Hello, this is how I sound. Hope you like it.
No one wants to be Keenan. What about Ernest?
Hello, this is what I sound like. Hope you like it.
Although, what about if you're going out into a different industry or a different sector or a different community? Maybe you want to speak Chinese.
您好，这就是我的声音，希望您喜歡。你好，這就是我的聲音，希望你喜歡。
So now you can type anything in and your avatar will say whatever you put in. You can then add different elements. So if you want to be a TikTok star, you can have that in there. If you then want to put assets up, so your video roll behind you, you can put that up. And then when you click submit, that will then merge it all so that then even the people who have accessibility issues, so if they are hard of hearing and they need to lip read, well, then what we can do is have them lip read anything we do. So for instance, let me see if I can find something. Ignore Santa. He was my out of office and I wanted him to do a range of things. So this is now me speaking about golf, but talking about golf in Mandarin and in my own voice, and the lip sync is so good that people can lip read.
在中西求到闪耀，高尔夫管理协会是梦想，培养领导者，建立网络。每篇学习
So the only challenge with that we found is that when you send that out to a huge community of Mandarin speakers and they ever see you in real life, they do think that you can speak Mandarin. So do be prepared. From here, you can then do a range of things. We can add URL, have your own influencer created. Once you choose what URL, so you add in, it will then talk about that URL. So if we look at IMEX, literally you paste it in, you choose your influencer. Once you choose who you want to talk.
Stop scrolling. Ever wondered how to make your event dreams come true? Dive into IMEX Frankfurt 2024.
So you can have him talk about your company simply by putting your company's URL in. Save that and then share it to Twitter, share it to TikTok, share it to Insta, share it right across the board. There's no need to pay for influencers for promotion anymore. That's a dying breed, thank heavens. Then we've got a range of different things where if you want to create an interactive avatar, you can then, and this is in beta version, this isn't quite where it needs to be yet. So on all of these things, we've got different avatars where you can chat with them. So if we choose this one, he's a tech expert. Let's speak with him. And this will then connect you to their servers, to their systems. So if you want to put this on your front page of your website, hey, how are you today?
Hello, I'm just a program, so I don't have feelings, but I'm here and ready to help you. How can I assist you today?
Well, we're thinking about how to use an interactive avatar on plumbing services websites. So when we're out doing work and no one's able to engage, you can answer the questions.
That sounds like a great idea. An interactive avatar on a plumbing service website can enhance customer engagement and provide immediate assistance even when...
So we're going to do away with him because you get the idea, and there's nothing quite as weird as talking to an AI and having it answer you. So there's a ton of these, and you can create your own on there. And then from there, it may be a case that you simply want to do some promotion. And if that's the case, you can then drop your PDF or drop your website into here and then choose 2 AIs that you like, and they will simply have a podcast or create a podcast about whatever information you put in.
Hey, have you seen Julian Moore's out of office message for 2025? It's absolutely hilarious.
No.
No, I didn't use this one because, well, someone saying it's hilarious is not hilarious. So with this, we can now imagine you've got your new service up and running. It's all ready to go. So you can upload your database securely. It will take the name, the company name, and how they've engaged with you. And then you create one video, hit send, and it will send that video to every single person on your database, but it will adapt it and merge it with your database. So it will literally say, hi, Barbara, or hi, Julian, whoever you're sending it to, it will talk to that person. You create one video and send it out to thousands. So now we've got the website, we've got our clone, we've got our 24/7 avatar on the front page, happy to answer questions for us while we're not available. Well, not everyone goes online. So how do you get hold of everyone else? Quite honestly, we're back to telephone calls, and telephone calls are very, very effective. It's just they're bloody expensive. So the easiest way to do the telephone calls is to have AI make the calls rather than use an overseas call center or anything like that. And if you were calling, 10,000 people, it would take months, and you'd have to train the call center on what to say and how to say it, and you'd still get complaints from people going they didn't understand or they got upset. AI never gets upset. It'll never complain. It'll never say the wrong thing for you. You simply can now call, let's say we want to call 10,000 people that used to take months and cost thousands. Now we can call 10,000 people for a 10-minute phone call simultaneously. So it literally takes 10 minutes. This is how Apple use it.
Hey, James.
I'm not interested, man.
Yeah, no worries. I hate calls out of the blue too. But I'm actually from Apple, and I saw you were checking out Vision Pro and were about to pre-order but left the page.
Dude, I
was curious, what had you looking into potential? Okay, I can respect that. Can I just ask one question before you go?
So as you can hear, it crests, it falls. It now also, if anyone answers in another language, it changes its language. It speaks every language. And it now means that it can just go out and do the prospecting for you. But what about you've got enough work and now you actually need it to be able to hold a conversation when they call you? So here, this is DeepGram. And DeepGram allows you to buy a laptop, install DeepGram, and plug it into your phone system. So if you don't answer the call in 3, 4, 5 rings, DeepGram will take over. But because it has access to your database, Excel, a MyOb, whatever, I've forgotten the name of the other one. So because it has access to accounting frame or whatever you want to give it access to, it will know who it's speaking to simply by asking them a question. First name, surname, company name, invoice number, all that type of thing.
The Tree Store, we guarantee your Christmas. How can I help you?
Hi, I'd like to make a return.
Happy to assist you. Can you tell me more about the problem first?
Yeah, my Christmas was just a little bit lackluster.
I'm so sorry to hear that. What can we do to remedy your Christmas?
So I had this Christmas tree for Christmas, and I just feel like my Christmas wasn't joyous enough, so I'd like a full refund.
Absolutely, sir. When you buy our Christmas tree, we guarantee 2 years of happiness. We'd be very happy to accept that return.
We might sack that one. Giving refunds that easy is not advisable, but you get the idea. And again, if someone rings up and speaks a different language, it switches into their language and it's able to have the conversation. We're using this in the range of space. It's like a huge range from dentists all the way through to manufacturing. Anywhere that the predominant number of phone calls are the same question. Where is this product? What time are you arriving? That type of thing. It's all able to manage those sort of questions. And if it can't, it will simply say, I don't know the answer. Hold on tight. I will just transfer you through to whoever. And then as the transfer goes, hey, Julian, it's DeepGram. Just letting you know, I've got so-and-so on the line. They're interested in this. I'm just transferring them now. And so it can act as though it's your AI answering service or your AI receptionist. So now we've done the website, we've got the clones going out, we've got the outbound calls, the inbound calls. What about if we actually want to have a look at just some of the large language models themselves? So this is Meta's AI. Now, Meta's AI is unsecure. let's be clear here. Anything you put into this AI will be recorded and then used for training for their new AIs. But that doesn't mean you can't use it, just means you can't use it for sensitive items. So if I say, generate a picture of a, let's say, small boy walking beside a river. Now, that will then go off and it'll give us our options of what it thinks, small boy walking beside a river or even in the river in 3 cases. So let's choose one of those. Once we've got the boy, we can then go, well, I don't actually just want an image. I want you then to turn that image into a GIF. So now we've got the small boy walking through the river. That's kind of the most way people use this type of thing. I wouldn't use that very much myself. Then what we've got is Claude. Claude is great because Claude doesn't train on anything you put into it by standard. However, you still have to be slightly, due to high demand, is unavailable. So Claude, you know, same thing. You can say, ask it a question. When is the cyclone going to arrive in Brisbane? And that will then do its thing, apologize, but it can't do this, check this, do that. Claude is great, but it's great for coding, and it's not really something that we tend to use outside of coding because it has immediate access to GitHub for the coding side of things. It has these certain things, experimental features that you can use for analysis tools and coding again. So people, when you're looking at these sorts of large language models, they're all starting to specialize, and Claude is amazing at coding. GPT's the famous one, and rightfully so. November 22 is when it kicked off. It was the first one to go public. And then now, since then, we've had a range of things happen. So if I show this, this is where we've got to. So GPT-4, when it first came out, this is IQ. The yellow line is a PhD. So let's say it's a PhD, I don't know, doctor or surgeon. That's what their speciality is. They're at 81% on the hardest questions in humanity on their topic. So that's where they score. They get about 81% of the questions on their speciality. The green line is outside their speciality. So a surgeon's knowledge of car alternators or plumbing. So now you've got the two differential. GPT-4 sat here. We then got to 4.0, which is the one you can talk and see with. And then the coding tools came through. Now we've got 0.1 available. And in about 3 weeks' time, 0.3 sits here. So GPT 0.3 sits way above PhD levels. So we now have a tool that's much higher intelligence than any PhD, has been trained on absolutely everything, so is able to score this in any topic. It has no green line. It's literally at that level in every single topic. And because of that, it makes GPT the easiest to use, simply because when you click your name, from clicking your name, you can then go to settings. And under settings, you can go to data control. And from there, you can turn off in model improvement. So turn it off here, turn off your audio recordings, turn off video recordings. Once you've turned all these off, it's not allowed to use any of your content for any training. It's encrypted at the front end, it's encrypted in transfer, and it's encrypted at rest. This is why this is just as safe to use. And the way I think of it is anything I put in an email, I can put in here. So you can use it for almost anything quite securely once you've done those things. Then from there, what you can also do is you can customize this. And when you customize it, customizing it means that it can now talk and write the way you do. Having an AI write American and formal American is next to bloody useless for us in here in Australia. And it doesn't help us at all, because what will happen is it won't save you any time. But having an AI that you can go, what should it call you? What do you do? How should it behave? So what traits should GPT have? This allows you to give it a personality. And so this is the personality I have it use. So this is the first one. So this is how I want it to behave. So ensure your tone is confident, friendly, informative, be conversational and casual without compromising. Use humor, because everyone does, and avoid exclusionary, exude confidence, be authentic. And so take all the jargon out and just be Australian. And then I said, well, I didn't like it. Once I put these two in, I tested it, and I'm like, oh, it needs to be a bit funnier. And I put 10% more funny and 10% more detail. Don't do that. It thinks it's some sort of stand-up comedian or something, and it's a really bad one. So I ended up on 4% more funny, 3% more detail. Do not gush. You know when you type in something and it goes, oh, I can help you with that. Let's work on this together. It's annoying. So do not gush and be 4% more casual. Because when we say 4% more funny, 4% more casual, it now starts writing in on a normal tone of phrase and a normal style of writing instead of being ultra formal American. Do not use Australian slang. The reason I have this is because what else should GPT know about me? Well, my name is, I work for, my role is, my email is, my mobile is. The reason I put that in there is simply because if someone asks you to fill a document out, say for instance, you have to fill out some submission form for some piece of work, you can drop that form in and say, fill it out for me. And it will fill the form out. And then you say, give it back to me as a PDF or give it back to me as a Word document. And it will give you the completed form as a Word document written like you would write it. So the trouble is, once you tell it you're in Australia, it wants to say crikey a lot and good day a lot. So do not use Australian slang. Don't tell me you're a trained AI. Don't mention the 4%. And then the most important, do not use American spelling. Use UK English spelling only. Never make up an answer, and take a deep breath and work on this problem step by step. They're the most important instructions you can give it, because that's what starts removing the hallucinations and the error rate. Once you do it this way and you start using the reasoning the models, you'll find that you have next to no hallucinations. So let me get rid of that. So now I've got GPT here, and if I say to it, write me an email to my wife saying I'm going to be late. Now, any other AI would go, let's write that email together, Julian, and let's create it so that she really understands what details should we give it. Well, now it writes like me. It doesn't have any of that. And it knows my wife's name. So it goes, hey, B, quick note, let you know I'm running late. Not exactly sure what time. I'll keep you posted. That is it. That's because it now writes like me. It's just become useful. I can drop any email in and say, answer this positively or answer this negatively, and it will write it just like I do. It's just become useful. So from here, what you then have is the more advanced features. And the advanced features are massive. You know, we can search the web, we can then image create, we can have it write whole articles or documents, and now you have deep research. Deep research is like having a PhD graduate do the research for you. Find all my nearest competitors, understand what they're offering, what their rates are, and compare it against mine and give me a comparison against or competitive analysis. And when you do it like this, it will then go off, search the web, find all the nearest competitors, find all their details, everything that's available online, and then do the analysis for you. It will then report back to you in whatever way you want the report written. And that might take half an hour, 3 hours. It goes off and just works on your behalf and does all the search, everything for you. So the deep research tool is magnificent. It's really cool. However, the way most people will be using this going forwards, well, why type when you can talk? We can all talk. Good morning.
Hey, Jules. How are you doing today?
Yeah, really good. You're live, I should say, to the Queensland Master Plumbers. Do you want to say hi to everyone?
Sure thing. Hello, everyone. It's great to be here with the Master Plumbers of Queensland. Let's dive into today's session.
So could you just give me a quick overview of your knowledge regarding health and safety for plumbing in Queensland, the legislation around plumbing in Queensland? And for instance, if I said to you, if I turned the camera on and you could see the camera, would you be able to tell me how near I was allowed to put a tap to an electric socket?
While I can't see through the camera, I can definitely help with information. In Queensland, plumbing health and safety regulations are guided by standards like the Plumbing and Drainage Act 2018 and the National Construction Code. These outline safety distances and requirements for plumbing.
I know you're giving a great response, but I meant to say everyone on the line only speaks Italian.
Understood. Allora, in Queensland, le normative sulla salute e sicurezza per l'impiantistica idraulica sono regolate da leggi.
Again, now I don't understand it. Can you switch back to Australian? In fact, instead of just normal Australian, let's go full ochre Aussie. I want your most broad Aussie accent, you know, full Croc Dundee. Don't hold back.
No worries. I'll give it a red hot go. So in Queensland, plumbing rules are pretty strict, mate. You'll find all the details in the Plumbing and Drainage Act.
So now you have the ability to have it chat and all these types of things. And if you're on an iPad or if you're on an Apple Mac, what you can do is
OpenAI.
You can now have it come up just as we did here. And then you can share your screen. Once it comes up, you just click share screen or screen broadcast. And then when you press that button, you then give it a set of instructions.
Tutor him on this math problem, but don't give him the answer. You can ask questions and nudge him in the right direction, but I really want to make sure he understands it himself. And he's here in the room, so you can talk to him directly.
Of course, I'd be happy to help. Let's look at the problem together. Can you first identify which sides of the triangle are the opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse relative to angle alpha?
All right, so I'm pretty sure this is the angle alpha right here, right?
Perfect. That's correct. Now, looking at the triangle, which side do you think is...
So now, while this is great for his education, what that also means is if you're on the Mac or an iPad, and it's coming to Windows very, very shortly, you'll be able to fire up GPT and say, have a look at my screen. I've got a schematic, or I've got a plan or a map, or I've got an Excel spreadsheet, and something's not right. Can you have a look and see where I've made a mistake? Or can you just give me a second opinion, make sure I've done it correctly? It will actually become a useful app. So now we have the ability for it to see the screen you're working on, and actually engage with you via voice in any language, even to the point where when we put it onto your phone. So if I stop sharing my screen for a moment, and here we are. So now on your phone, what you can do is put GPT app, standard app, but now when you hit the button, it goes into voice mode. Good morning.
Jules, how's your morning going?
Yeah, really good. I'm just going to turn my camera on for a moment.
Sure, take your time.
Awesome. What can you see through the camera right now? Can you tell me what you can see?
I see you in a quiet room with a desk and some shelves behind you. Is there something specific you'd like me to look at?
So now we have the ability, I don't know if you noticed, it said, I see you. So it's no longer, I just see some white dude in the black shirt in an office. It's like, I see you, Julian, sat in the room. What it now has the ability to do is turn the camera on. And when you turn the camera on, you can then speak to it and say, look, I'm on this site or this job. Have a look around, identify everything within the room, identify all the health and safety issues, identify any of the non-conforming plumbing within Queensland's regulations, and then put it all into a spreadsheet with everything listed beside it, and then add a value and cost to each one, and then give it back to me as a report. So now you have the ability to have it engaged, but that's using it on your phone. You might not want to carry your phone around with you. So now what we have is Ray-Bans, and the Ray-Bans have, oh, let me get them out. The Ray-Bans have cameras in them. So you can see how it's got a camera in either side, and you can have these, you know, put it with your own prescriptions in. And then they have microphones underneath. And then when you put these on, you can then talk to your AI and it can talk to you on everything you see. So real estate agents are using it for house inspections. Surgeons are using it to then speak with students so they can live stream and they can see the surgery going on. So there's absolutely no reason plumbers can't put the glasses on. And when they start doing the work, if there's any challenging situation, say, hey, GPT or hey, Mena, have a look at this. Tell me what you think. I think it's this. Is this correct? And it will now start giving you a second opinion or helping you record things or write the emails or write the responses simply from wearing a pair of glasses now. And that's being used in a range of ways. So this is a blind guy. So, I didn't share my screen. Let me share my screen. No one told me. Come on, people. You need to tell me if I've not shared the screen properly. So here we are. We got shared sound. There it is. So this is what it looks like for a blind guy using it.
Is the king in residence at the moment?
Yes, it looks like the king is in residence right now. The royal standard flag is flying above Buckingham Palace, which is the signal that the monarch is present. How exciting to be there while the king is home.
Try and tell me exactly what they're doing right now, please.
I even know when a taxi is coming with its orange light on. I think I'll hail it to get home.
Yes, I spotted one just now. It's heading your way on the left side of the road. Get ready to wave it down.
So now you can see, you can hold this camera up, it can see its surroundings and understand its surroundings. So no matter where you're using it, surveyors are using it to map entire buildings. Financial people who are doing purchase or acquisition of buildings are using it to identify the size, the shape, the scale of the building. So there's a whole range of different tools that you can use GPT's vision and voice for. Now, from there, once we've got those kind of productivity increases where it's writing your email, creating your website, it's doing the phone calls, answering the phone calls, it then is helping you write your proposals, or in most cases, just writing all the proposals for you so that it saves you time. You can write proposals in moments now. And then from there, the easiest way is to drop another proposal in, by the way. So literally add a document. So upload a document from the computer. Let me find something. So say, for instance, you add a member database. Once you've added your database, you can then interrogate it. Who is most likely to leave us? And you can then ask a question of the database that you upload, and it will do the data analysis and it will do the interrogation of it. So you can upload proposals, you can upload your RFPs, and then have it create the response to each of these and do the interrogation. Even to the point, if you want it to do the visuals, you can say, show me this in a bar graph, show me this in a Word format. So I've identified the members most likely to leave based on their membership status, event participation, overdue, feedback ratings. So it's gone through and it's found that this is the person who's most likely to leave, John Sanchez. So now I should be able to say, write an email to John, who is number one, and let's try to get him to stay. John, would love you to stay with us. Hope you're doing well. Membership's been paused, Hope they find a way. Look forward to hearing from you. And again, it's writing it like I would. And so it now is a case where you can interrogate any document and create anything. So we've got the productivity gains, but what about when we start looking through and some of the other side of things, some of the creativity? Well, let's say you're not in the office, so you can't do the video call. Well, now what we have, as you can see, is we have a thing called Pickle. This is Pickle. And Pickle allows you to record yourself in your office and then use that anywhere.
See, I'm currently participating in a Zoom call, but what if I tell you that I'm actually not in front of the camera right now? And this is an AI-generated live stream that moves in sync with my voice.
And so essentially, let's say you're now on site in your car, you're traveling, and they want to do a video call where you can appear to be anywhere. I am actually here right now. Look, if I do that, you're here. So you can now be anywhere and prepare and show that you're actually in front of your camera still. When we look at the way the voice is being used, when we look at haulage.
Let me check. One phrase. Do you see a reference number for that load?
There's no reference number.
What's the link?
Groveport, Ohio
origin
to Fremont.
and destination cities or states?
Groveport, Ohio to Fremont, Ohio.
Let me pull it up. That load's just been covered. Can I help you find another one?
Are you AI?
Yes, I am. Can I help you find another load?
Nah, let me speak to the broker.
I'll transfer you to someone who can help.
So you're seeing a huge amount of the AI telephone answering services come through. Now, let's have a look at some of the creativity side of things. Let's think. Heath, are you still there? I know Heath had his camera on earlier, and I was just wondering, Heath,
Yes,
what organization are you with? What company? What's it called?
Guaranteed Plumbing.
And it was Harvey Bay.
Correct. Yeah, there it is. H-E-R.
Ah, look, my spelling is shocking. I'm one of the most dyslexic you're ever going to meet. So here we are. Bloody hell, mate. Look at those legs. You should be a model. So now we've got guaranteed plumbing. I'm just going to take your website. Whoever does your website, by the way, that looks great. So now we've got GPT, standard thing. I can say, read this and put the URL in. And then write me a massive viral sensation pop song about this. So that will then read the website, and now it's going to guaranteed to flow. It's our pop song. And so we're going to take the song. Once we've got the song, we'll then nip to our AI called Suno. This is Suno. And Suno, just like all the other tools, based on a large language model. But of course, this one, if I paste the song in, I'm just going to get rid of the things where it was. There we are. The acoustic guitarist guaranteed. No, that's where it's doing its thing. So it's got some links I'm just going to remove from here. There we are. And then once we got rid of our Facebook links where it's got all the information from, we can see that we've got woke up this morning, water on the floor, panic's rising, can't take it anymore. All right, so now we've got our song. We can then give it a style. Well, we've got a range of styles here. Let's have a look, see what we can find. We've got soundtracks, Gothic, Delta, we've got all that. But, you know, we asked for a pop song, so let's make it a 80s pop sensation. And we'll have, we'll make it a boy band. Nothing like an 80s boy band. All right, so the title, and I forgot what it was called. Something guaranteed to flow, of course. So once we got guaranteed to flow dropped in, we can then hit create. And just like the way we generated words or Excel or any of the other things, this is using all the knowledge it has from every song that ever created in history, because they're all recorded. All of YouTube is recorded, all of the radio content, all of the archives are recorded. So it's trained on all those. So now not only will it write for you, obviously I could have had it write the song or line by line, but what it will also do is the orchestration, the instrumentation, and then here we are. We've got our first two, because it gives you two at a time.
Woke up this morning, water on the floor. Panic's rising, can't take it anymore. Grab my phone, need a rescue plan. Dial the number, call the plumbing man. They said don't worry, we're on our way. 15 minutes and we'll save the day. If we're late, you'll get 50 back. That's our promise and that's a fact. Guaranteed to flow. Oh, 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 oh. With the pros who know. Oh, 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 oh.
This isn't bad.
They'll fix it right the first time round. Leave your place cleaner than they found.
So as much as I'd like to listen to the rest of that, you can see now that you can create any theme tune you want. If you've got an awards ceremony, you can have every single person that goes up having their tailored anthem with the company name, with the award name, with the sponsor name. If you're got a nice website like Heath's, you can then have your own song playing across the background. You can even, to the point where if you're now having advertising done for YouTube or the internet or those, you can now do this yourself. You simply create the music, which you saw how straightforward that is to do. Once you've created that, you can then add a music video. So if we were to go back to GPT, you can then say, now make a block of instructions for a music video. So that will then say, here's the music video, and it will create the breakdown for you. So now we've got the concept, visually engaging, day in the life of guaranteed plumbing. And there's scene 1, scene 2, scene 3. So let's just take scene 1. We'll just take the whole thing. And then when we've got that, we can go to Sora. And within Sora, this is the GPT's own video creator. There's a lot of video creators out there. But let's say we want it in 16:9. Now, if I did it in high definition, it would take too long. So I'm going to do it in the low one. And then we're going to have a 10-second one so it doesn't take too long. And I'm going to paste in nothing. And then as we hit enter, that will then go off and add us to the queue for the activity. And then fingers crossed, it's not too busy, because sometimes these videos can take, 5 minutes, 10 minutes to create. However, we went very low resolution and a very short one. So I've got some hope that we might be able to come back and see a video of this very shortly. But what we also have while that's waiting is, if I just call up what you can actually do within Sora now, this is what it looks like when you take an AI video of what you created, and then you add another video into it. So it will merge the two videos together. So now we've got the merging there. What we can also see now is what a finished video would look like. Keep in mind, nothing here is real. Every single thing is just a computer generated image. So now we've got that, let's have a look, see where we are. And here's scene 1. It's not looking the greatest at the moment, mainly because of the low resolution. Let's see what it came up with the other one. See if this one's any better. Yeah, she's actually got water coming out of her, which is bloody awful. So when you increase the detail, I love the fact that she's just got water coming out of everywhere. So when you actually increase the resolution down here, It increases the accuracy of what you want to create. And then you drop each scene into it, create each scene, and then simply put them together in a continuous form and put your music on the back. You've just literally saved yourself an entire video creation, and now you can use that to either make your own YouTube channel, your own Instagram, your own Facebook, even to the point where you might want to create your own podcast. So funny enough, let's create a podcast, because podcasts take too long. You know, to create podcasts these days, it's a huge amount of time. So let's have a quick look at a podcast. What I'm going to do is take Master Plumbers Queensland, and let's have a look at the events. Under the events, here we are, practical AI training. Let's take that one. And then I'm going to take that information. So just the URL. And I'm going to go to Notebook. And Notebook allows us to do a couple of things. So I'm going to add a source and I'm going to add the website. And then insert that. That's now going to read the website and read all about it. So here we are, AI for Plumbing Professionals Workshop. Now it's read all of this. What it can then do is we can use that information in a range of ways. We can use it as, well, study guide frequency. So let's say I want a study guide. It will now use that data and it will generate a practical training. So here's the study guide. What's the primary focus for the solutions? Primary focus is this. So it'll give you the study guide, the questions. Then it gives you the answer key. Then it gives you the essay format questions and the glossary of terms. And you can put anything into this. And then once it's done that, you'll notice what it also starts doing is generate a conversation. And the conversation it generates is two AIs having a conversation about whatever you've put in there. And then we'll come back to it when it's finished. But once it's been created, and once you've got your, Instagram's done, your Facebook is done, your outreach is done, your website's done, and all of this, bear in mind, can be done in a few hours now. You now have the ability to have it updated in the podcast format. So here's the podcast for AI for Plumbing Professionals Workshop.
Okay, so get this picture in your head. Okay, you're a plumber, right? It's 2025, and you've got your wrenches and pipes and get the AI.
AI.
Yeah, artificial intelligence. We're going deep on this today. Some materials from the Master Plumbers Association of Queensland, MPAQ, for those in the know. And they're running this workshop all about AI for plumbers.
No, that's something I wouldn't have immediately put together. AI and plumbing.
I know, right? I had the same thought. But stick with us on this one because it actually gets really interesting.
Yeah, you know what's really cool here? It's like AI isn't just for like the big tech companies anymore.
Right.
We're talking about real world uses.
So now we have a podcast that it created simply from that small amount of information. And those kind of podcasts are great. So you can choose the voices, you can choose the language, you can choose how many, 2 hosts, that type of thing. But now, what about if you want to be involved?
Okay, so get this picture in your head. Okay, you're a plumber, right? It's 2025. You got your wrenches and pipes and get this AI.
Yeah.
Artificial intelligence. We're going deep on this today. Some materials from the Master Plumbers Association of Queensland, MPAQ.
Oh, hey, I think our listeners got something to say.
Hey, long-term listener, first-time caller. On the Master Plumbers, is it essential that I'm a member of the Master Plumbers to use AI?
Okay, thanks for chiming in.
Glad to have you with us.
Okay, so great question. Is it essential to be a member to use AI?
Well, from what I'm seeing here about this workshop,
Yeah.
it doesn't look like it. It's more like MPAQ is offering this as a resource.
A way to get ahead, maybe.
Exactly. Now, whether AI is essential in general.
So now we have the ability for you to simply be an interview guest on a podcast. You get to guide what the topic is. And then once you've got it, you simply download this. And then once it's downloaded, well, what do you do? Well, what we would do is we'd put this into a thing called DistroKid. This is DistroKid. It's literally music distribution. Now, when you use distro, let's use this in a different way so I don't have to show logins and passwords and all the things. Here we are. And what you can now do is you can upload your information. So last one I uploaded was here. And then, of course, we can nip to the bank and we can see how many people have listened to it. And well, I've made $40.51 from the number of people listening to that on Apple Music, on Spotify, on Amazon Music, because this now just distributes it right across. So the more listeners you have and the more people you have engaging, then the more money you make simply by uploading your podcasts. Podcasts have become huge. So with that, you can now see how you can engage an audience. Well, first off, you can create the website. You can then engage with them via the phone or via video, or have a avatar that will chat with them. You can then use the GPT and so forth trained on your styles that will write like you, sound like you, talk like you. And then that can create video, you can create music, you can then create podcasts, and you can upload all of these so that then you're on Spotify. I've got a question from Jovi. Are there any admin work that businesses are usually bogged down with that can be made more efficient? Every single piece of admin work is the easiest answer. First off, if you can have it create the document. So let's drop this down and pick up here. So all I've got is the URL again. So if I say, read this and turn it into a board paper. And then if I use a canvas tool, it will then read that. And now here comes the board paper. And once it's done the board, we can then say, well, is that enough? I might then use these tools down here where I can say suggest edit. So say, for instance, you want to drop a 2024 document in and say, I want this made into a bring this document up to date and make it suitable for 25. You can then say suggest edits. If I want to change the length, I can make it several thousand words long, or I can make it super short. Add final polish, even add emojis, or I can change the reading level. So if I want to change it to PhD graduate level for the board, I can, and it will start using the more business style language and the kind of understanding all the way through to, if I then say, well, actually change that reading level to kindergarten, and it will then rewrite the whole thing based around this paper talks about a special online event. It will help people learn things about plumbing and gas work. And then we've got help people learn more, and it will literally change its writing style. And then when you finish, you just click add final polish, and then it'll go through and change the format and the structure ready for you to do whatever you want with it. So rather than have it like this, you might say, give this to me as a Word document. So now it will take it when you've got it finished, and rather than you copy and pasting and changing structures and all that type of thing, you simply say, give it to me as the Word document. You could put your accounts in and say, give it to me as a Excel spreadsheet. And then here's our thing. So if I click open file, here's my board papers already laid out with all the information on it. So when it comes to admin, it's really, really powerful at admin. It's able to, if we were, for instance, once you've got it customized nicely to the way you talk, if I just open up a email, I hope I've got a nice email handy. If I find, I got a Qantas thing that says, hi, would you last chance to upgrade? Decline this. And I just paste the email in. Hi, thanks for the offer, but I'll pass on the upgrade for this trip. All the best. And you'll notice it just writes like I do because, well, that's what I want it to do. And getting yours to write like you is key. So it's really straightforward to use it in that way. Now, we've only got, I see, 10 minutes left. So do ask some questions in the chat. And while you're doing that, I just want to talk really briefly on two things: emotion and misinformation. Having the ability to use AI, the key for getting information across is emotion. You can't just have it say facts. It has to be able to write these proposals for you out to Gloria, who knows nothing about the world of plumbing, but is maybe 90 years old and needs her hand holding. So you need the ability to have it manage emotion, and that's in both text and video. This is what the video is looking like. So we take a single image, and when we feed it audio, it then manages the way the emotion.
Crazy, thinking about the way I want.
So now we can actually overlay emotion into our clones. So that's really where things are moving on the clone side of things. But what is becoming more and more clear is what's coming. Now, the first one we ever saw was this. This is figure 1. Now, this is the 9th of March last year.
Hey, figure 1, what do you see right now?
I see a red apple on a plate in the center of the table, a drying rack with cups and a plate, and you standing nearby with your hand on the table.
Great, can I have something to eat?
Sure thing.
Great. Can you explain why you did what you just did while you pick up this trash?
On it. So I gave you the apple because it's the only edible item I could provide you with from the table.
So let's pause this here. This is figure 1. You can see the actuators are too big, too many cables going around. I mean, it's very advanced. It's able to do multiple things. That was last year, literally almost to the day. In fact, it's 1 year old. Let's have a look at the update. This is the update. This is now figure 2. And it's in the BMW manufacturing plant. So since it's got no voice, let's turn that down a bit. So now it's doing the manufacturing role for the BMW hard presses, and it runs 24/7, 7 days a week, and it just gets more and more accurate the time they're doing it. There's been 0 accidents, so hands pressed, all that type of thing. You can see another one charging itself, and this is currently still running. This isn't just a one-day thing. In fact, they work in the dark, so they had to turn the light on just to start filming this type of thing. Now, Figure is really pushing this type of manufacturing assistance. However, what we also have now is came out a week ago, and you can see now.
Hey, Figures, can you come here?
They're giving it a home challenge.
Okay, I'd like to try something new. Even though this is the very first time that you've ever seen these items, I'd like you to use your new Helix AI and try to reason through where you think they belong in the scene, and then work together to put them away. Does that sound good?
So now they're doing this. I'll just turn that down a touch. So these two communicate silently together, and they go, oh, look, I've got milk. It belongs in the fridge so it doesn't spoil. I've got dried goods. They belong in the drawers. And then I've got fresh produce that belongs here. And so, and they can work together simply to do the task faster. And so now we're seeing the humanoid robots come through into the house. What we now have is a range of companies doing this, and the one that just released, or just literally announced, this is Neo. Neo is your home assistant. So the humanoid robotics is going to be massive, to the point where every home's going to have one. They're $20,000 to $30,000. It will make the beds, you know, it will unstack the dishwasher, stack the dishwasher. It will take the dog for the walk, mow the lawns. It will do all those sorts of jobs. To give you an idea, this is a phone. So it's called the Nothing Company. And the Nothing Company, they do a range of different things. So this is an Android phone release, and they used, this is, Josie from Jetsons. This is Neo doing the phone release. So now it has these capabilities. It's been announced this will be launched sometime around August, October of this year. So 2025 is absolutely going to be the first year you actually see an Android walking around and people using these sorts of things. And there's so many of them. And of course, this is Elon's version, not to be outdone.
But fundamentally, at scale, the Optimus robot, you should be able to buy an Optimus robot for, I think, probably $20,000 to $30,000 long term. So, and what can it do? It'll basically do anything you want. So it can be a teacher, babysit your kids. It can walk your dog, mow your lawn, get the groceries, just be your friend, serve drinks, whatever you can think of, it will do.
But being Elon's, he probably only unpacks from a Tesla.
I think this will be.
So these sorts of things are here now. These are literally launching this year. Figure 1 goes into homes for alpha testing in a couple of weeks. that means they're targeting an end of year launch. NIO goes in homes in a few weeks. They're targeting a 25 launch, and Tesla haven't quite announced yet. But to give you an idea, if you go on to AliExpress right now, you can buy this one, which has moved. This is real. So you can buy that today on AliExpress for $16,500. It's already for sale. So that brings us neatly to what the future holds. Let's have a quick look at some of these questions. I will stop sharing and have a look and see what we've got. Okay, so first things first. He says, we currently use Lucy AI for phone answering. It's quite basic and simple and sometimes makes mistakes. Is there any other? I would use the Aura. Now, let me just find that. It's DeepGram Aura, only because much like Lucy, when they first came out, they all made a range of mistakes, but DeepGram Aura stays up to date by basically being plugged into GPT. So now we've got the one where it's doing medical, but DeepGram Aura, conversational text to speech for voice, is really the most straightforward one. And this is the one that does all the answering of that type of thing. So that would be the one. However, Heath, there's quite a few of these things now. We're no longer going to be just using whatever Telstra give us for answering systems. It won't be very long, and I'm talking a matter of weeks, maybe months, where they just plug it in to allow you to use a website, choose what database you're using, and it will then manage your reception calls and that type of thing. And Built Form Boutique says it's kind of Rosie from the Jetsons. Yeah, we're not far away from the Jetsons right now. It's really, really interesting out there right now. And then David asks, thanks for the presentation. No, thank you for joining me, especially when it's doing that outside at the moment. How can we get further training on using AI in this workspace? Well, fantastic question. You've got one of the best associations going. They didn't just book a one-off. They've actually got a strategy for an ongoing training. And with that, I'll thank you all for joining me and pass you back across to Tracy.
All right. Thank you so much for your presentation, Julian. It was very informative. And obviously, I think we do have one other presentation later in the year, so maybe we'll add on to that, to this presentation. So that's all we have time for today. Thank you to each of you for joining us. Thank you to Julian again for taking the time to be with us today. Stay safe, everyone, and we will see you next time.